What is your perfect health coach niche? In this video, I'm going to break that down for you, the step-by-step process of getting clear on where is the best spot for you specifically to specialize. I'm also going to talk about why having a niche is so important, because it is. Figuring out your health coaching niche is the biggest thing that I see coaches get stuck on and come back to again and again in the life of their business, wondering if they are in the right spot, wondering if they're communicating their messaging clearly. It can be a huge spot that keeps you from being successful and making money in your business if you're not really clear on this and if you're not communicating it clearly. So I'm going to go through that with you in today's video. And just to tell you a little bit about who I am, I'm Dr. Kristen Hartjes. I'm a former chiropractor and functional medicine practitioner turned health coach turned business coach. I have been helping health coaches build successful coaching businesses over the past decade. And so the other thing that makes this video special, I would say, is that I have a lot of experience. So instead of me just speaking about picking a niche from a intellectual place, I'm speaking about it from a place of experience of helping hundreds and hundreds of health coaches go through this process and actually seeing how it plays out in their business. So I have a lot of wisdom to bring to this topic, which throughout the years, I've created a lot of videos about your niche, and this brings the accumulation of everything that I've learned over the past decade to really give you the best information based on practical, applicable experience of applying your niche to your business. So why is having a niche so important? So first of all, it's really important to understand that yes, health coaching is becoming more mainstream, more accepted, more people are knowing about it. But at the same time, if you tell people you're a health coach, a lot of people aren't super familiar with what that means. And that also, what that also translates to is that many people are not looking for a health coach. Most people are not out there searching for a health coach. That isn't something that they're looking for. But what they are looking for is the solution to a problem, a specific problem that they have, okay? That is why we buy anything. That is why we purchase anything. We purchase something because it is providing a solution to a problem we have, whether that is a service like coaching or it is a thing, like a phone. We're buying it to solve a problem, being able to communicate, or for coaching, being able to solve maybe a specific health problem. So you want to understand that. What motivates people to take action? It is take action and invest in something. It is solving a specific problem they have. And that is why we want to have a niche and communicate what we do in relation to solving a problem for someone, because that is what people are searching for. That is what they are willing to invest in, okay? So the other reason why you want to have a niche is because you have a unique set of skills that are best set to help a specific audience with a specific problem. And a lot of times this is based on your own personal experience of what you have personally been through, or maybe what you've helped someone else go through that has had a big impact on your life. So if we can specifically help someone in an area where we have a lot of expertise, especially personal wisdom from having gone through something ourselves, that is very valuable and is going to help people in a much bigger, deeper, more impactful way, okay? What you learn through personal experience and actually applying something and doing something is always more valuable than what you learn from a book, okay? That's why actually having coached for the last decade and helped hundreds of coaches, like I've learned so much more through that process than I've learned just from learning what to do as far as running a business from someone else, right? Like we're all passing on this information, but what you actually learn through the wisdom of doing it is so much more valuable. So the other place where having a niche is really important is connection and understanding of what your client is going through. All right. We can always connect the best with someone who's going through something similar to what we've gone through. There's just another level of understanding and connection that happens through that you can't get if you haven't gone through something yourself. It also allows you to become an expert in something. Okay. There's a saying that the riches are in the niches or in the niches, right? The reason for this is the same, like if we see that someone specializes in something in medicine, right? If someone is specifically a cardiac doctor or a neurological doctor or a neurological surgeon or something like that, like that's very specialized, and they typically make more money because they have very specific knowledge in a very specific area, and people will seek out and pay more to have someone who specializes in something very specific because they know they're getting the very best care in that specific area, the specific area where they have a problem, right? Going back to that problem. So when you can have a specific area of focus, it allows you to get really good at that area. And it also shows your potential ideal clients that you're really specialized and good at helping people with that specific area. Okay. The other reason why having a niche is really important is because marketing. Okay. When it comes to growing your business and letting people know what you're doing, if you have a specific area of focus, it allows you to more easily communicate what it is you do. So if you just tell people, I help you get healthy, or I help you with health issues, like it's very general. It doesn't really connect with people. But if you can tell people, I specifically help people who are struggling with thyroid issues, or I specifically specialize in helping women lose weight. And we can get even more specific than that, obviously, because some of those can still be really general, but it helps people connect with what it is you're doing and understand it and be like, oh yeah, I get it. Like I know someone who's struggling with that. Can I send them your way? Right? So when we have a very general message, people don't really connect with it. Maybe they don't really even understand it, or like someone specific doesn't come into mind. When you communicate what it is you do, we want it to be in a way that someone is like, oh yeah, I totally need that. Or my friend Karen totally needs that. Like she's struggling with exactly what you just explained. So that's how you test out if you have a really good message and are communicating what you do clearly. Like people really get it. And a lot of times either they think themselves, oh my gosh, I totally could use that. Or they can think of someone else who's like, oh, I know someone who could use that. And that's how you know you have good messaging. That's how you start getting referrals, because people understand what you do and they understand who to send your way. Okay. So starting off, that is why a niche is really important and will make a huge difference in growing your business and allowing you to be a really good coach and help people on a deeper level, which is really, really important. And one of the things I think people kind of skip over, and especially because of how we're marketed to as coaches, there's a lot of focus on making money and making it as quickly as possible. And making money is great. Awesome. I want everyone to make money, make a lot of money, like perfect. But when you make it at the expense of having a really good service and knowing that you can really help people on a really deep level, that's when it becomes a problem. That's the problem we're having right now in the medical community in general, like in our current healthcare system. Like it's all about profit, right? And so we've lost the focus on having a really good service that actually really supports people on the deepest level. And that's what I want you to have with your coaching, because I want you to make really good money, because money follows when you have a really good service. Okay. So making the best service, which starts with having really good clarity on your niche. Okay. So when it comes to picking a niche, from experience, and this is probably something different than what you've heard other people explaining or when they explain a niche, but from my experience of helping coaches create a niche, I have found that there's 3 main focuses as far as where your niche where the big focus of your niche is. So it can either be, most commonly, it's on the problem you solve. Okay, that is the most common. The second thing can be around the person you're helping. So sometimes like the person is the main focus, like specifically if you've been in a very specific career in the past, like maybe you are a healthcare provider, or you are, like I'm working with someone right now that specifically specializes in helping people in law enforcement, right? Like sometimes we have like the person is a more specific focus. And lastly, the technique might be the most important focus in what you do. And that's the least common, is probably if you have a very specific technique. Like I'm working with a coach right now who uses medical astrology. That's a very specific technique. It's not super common. And so our bigger focus right now on her niche is actually the technique as opposed to the problem or the person. So you still are going to bring in the other pieces no matter where you're focusing and where your biggest focus is. Like I said, for most people, it's the problem they solve. Okay. The other thing that I want to say right away is that there's three main areas where people will pay for support, and it has to do with health. So for health coaches, a lot of health coaches, like that may be the biggest focus, but I work with a lot of people that even if they do have a health background, they end up focusing more on career, that's the second one, or relationships. Okay, so the big three as far as where your niche probably falls in some capacity. There are some things that lie outside of this, but for the biggest part, this is what most people focus on, either health, career, or relationships as far as supporting other people, because those are the biggest things that are a lot of times like a focus in our life and where we experience a lot of our biggest, most painful problems that have a big impact on our life and our happiness. Okay. So those are the big three. The other thing that I want to share is that just because you have a coaching niche does not mean that you can't help people outside of your niche. Okay? Your niche is primarily for marketing purposes, and the longer you're in business, the more you will probably just stick to helping people in your niche. But if you get referrals outside of your specific niche, you can always help those people if you feel qualified and able and excited to help those people. Okay. Your niche doesn't have to limit you from helping people outside of that niche. It just means this is your area of specialty. And when we market and tell people what you do in order to build your business, you're going to focus on that because it gives us a focus. It helps people understand what you do. And this makes it much easier to communicate and to grow your business. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the steps to go through to get clear on your niche. Okay. I have 4 steps, so there's not too many of them. The first is I want you to go through and think about the biggest personal challenges that you have gone through in your life that have had a big impact in your life. And you want these challenges to be challenges that you have actually gone through and come out the other side. This does not mean that you are perfect at these things or you have them totally figured out, because I absolutely believe that our biggest challenges in life, like that's a lifelong process for us. We're always probably going to be working on those things, but you've definitely like had a transformation in this area and you feel like you have a lot of wisdom to share and expertise as having gone through this and kind of come out, I want to say come out the other side is like the best way I can explain it. Once again, not perfect, but you have gone through this transformation and you've figured out a lot through the process and you've grown a lot through the process. So I want you to think about what are the biggest areas in your life where you personally have done that. And you may have a list of, maybe try to think of like 5. Maybe you have one big one that stands out and you're just like, I know this has been like such a big challenge for me. This is what I know I'm meant to help other people with, like awesome. But sometimes you have a list of a couple things and you can kind of narrow it down. Okay. One of the things you can also ask yourself is, why did I become a coach? Why did I get interested in health and wellness? Why did I become a health practitioner? Why did I become a coach? Like, think about that, because a lot of times, like, your big motivation can be a big indicator as to what you're meant to help other people with as well. Okay. So what are your biggest challenges? Write them down, make a list. Please take out a piece of paper and actually go through and do this, because when you write things down, it really helps you better process it, as opposed to just trying to do it in your head. So the second thing is, of those challenges, which do you feel most confident and passionate about helping other people with? The other thing you can think about is, if you were to create content, like you started creating videos or writing posts, or, talking about something on Instagram, like, what would you be excited to talk about and share about and, further explore, further increase your education around? Like, which topics do you feel most drawn to and pulled to and excited about and interested in talking about? Okay. So that can be a good indicator. So that's number 2, most confident and passionate about. Most confident that you can help people with too. Like, if there's something you're like, I don't feel like I can help people with, then that is not an area where you're meant to help other people. Okay. Like, go on to something else. And once again, that might be because you're too deep in your own process with that. If you're in the middle of a transformation in one area of your life, like, that's not what you're meant to help people with. You should be more on the other side of it when you're helping people, not right in the thick of it, in the middle of it, struggling with it yourself. That's not a good area to be helping people with personally. Okay. So number 3 is, you want to be able to clearly communicate the problem you help people with. Okay. What is the problem? If someone comes to you and they're like, Kristen, I'm really struggling with this thing. I need help. Can you help me with this? How are they going to say it in using their words, not using coachy lingo that no one understands, where you're like, I help you, with your life purpose, and I help you transform your health, and like, in their words. If they came to you and they said, will you help me with this? I have this problem. How would they communicate it to you? Okay. That is the problem. What is the result you help people achieve? So when people work with you, what is the result they want? What is the result you help them achieve? So by the time you're done working together, where are they going to be? What is going to be different in their life? How are they going to feel? Just painting a picture of that. Okay. The solution you provide, or the result that they get. And then the next piece is the solution you provide. So this is how you help them. This is how you help them get from point A, which is the problem, to point B, which is the solution. And then in between is the work that you will do together that helps them, do the stepping stones to get from problem to solution. So having a understanding of what that looks like. And if you are really meant to help someone in a certain area and you have a lot of wisdom around that area, around that problem, then you should be able to know, probably reflecting on your own journey and also what you have learned, how to help someone get from point A to point B, which is from problem to solution. Okay. And then your process and kind of your philosophy about helping people is that in between part that you want to be able to communicate. So number 3, clearly communicate the problem someone has in their words, the result that they want in their words. Okay. Using their words, really important, so that you're not getting too coachy and too, using words that are just, they don't really mean anything to people. They're just too kind of coachy and out there. And the solution you provide, or the technique that you're using, like, kind of, it's a combination of that. And then the 4th piece is, who is the person that you are supporting? So for most people, this is a version of you or someone similar to you. They might be similar age. They might be similar, making a similar amount of money. Maybe they have a similar career. Maybe they have a similar life circumstance as far as having kids or not having kids, or being in a certain time period of their life. Maybe they're midlife. Maybe they're in their 20s, 30s, maybe older, 70s, getting close to retirement, going through like the transformation of being an empty nester, like all these things, like knowing where this person is, who they are, what's going on for them in their life, and having a specific person that you focus on helping with can really make a huge difference, because depending on who the person is and what's going on for them in their life, they may be experiencing the problem a bit differently, or it may be showing up for them differently or impacting different areas of their life. Okay. So we want to bring all of these things together. And like I said before, depending on whether you have a bigger focus on the problem, the person, or the technique, the messaging may look a little bit different and have a bit of a bigger focus somewhere else. And as far as how specific you have to get in these different areas, that can depend on where the focus is and what the focus is. And this is something really that I really help my clients get clear on, because sometimes like knowing how specific you have to get in the different areas is a little nuanced, but this is giving you like an overall picture as far as knowing the different areas to focus on in your niche. Okay. So when you're going through the process, once again, biggest personal challenges, get clear on that, write those down. Which do you feel most confident and passionate about helping other people with? You want to be able to clearly communicate the problem that someone has, the result that you help them achieve, and your solution or the process that you bring someone through. And then number 4 is the person. Okay, who is the person that you're working with, that you're helping? Once again, usually someone very similar to you. So I would love to hear from you. Did you find this helpful when you're going through this process? I would love for you to actually go through this process, write it down, and share with me in the comments, like what from going through this process, where are you thinking your niche is? Let me know. I'd be happy to hear about it and give you some feedback on it, hear what you're thinking about focusing on. So let me know in the comments where you're thinking of focusing, or if you have questions and you're getting stuck on your niche, let me know that in the comments as well, so I can give you some feedback. And I want to thank you so much for joining me in this week's video. Niche is like really where I start as far as helping a lot of my clients with growing their business, but there's a lot of other steps that happen after this. And I have a video training where I talk about the next steps to really growing and building your business. So if you want to check that out, I'm going to link it below this video. I'm also going to be creating some videos as far as going through your package and your pricing. And so I will link those below this video as well. So I want to thank you so much for joining me this week. Let me know what you're thinking about your niche in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, share it with anyone else that you think would find it helpful, and I will see you in the next video.